Welcome back, sixth grade. So for today's mini lesson, we're going to talk about pressures acting on characters. So I did a bit of research and I learned that according to understood.org, I pulled a quote from the article as my text evidence. They say that the transition from grade school or elementary school to middle school can be tough for any tween. Oh, I see some people agreeing that this is true. So the change of academic expectations and social interactions increase. So you have way more expectations and way more interactions with way more people in middle school than you probably did in grade school. Some of these changes can actually create unique pressures and challenges for kids with learning and thinking differences. And I love to say no two brains are the same. So we're probably all experiencing this stress and pressure that we feel from transitioning from grade school, especially in a remote world, back to being in the building in middle school. So let's talk about that. So last class, we talked a lot about Will. And with Miss Julia, we listened to her read aloud and we talked about with Miss Julia, we considered what traits would fit best for Will. And why were they most important to the plot of the story? So remember we talked about that great job that Miss Julia had, and we learned that Will's ruthlessness really changed his situation from being bitter to being popular. So today let's look back and identify some of the pressures he may have been facing that made him act this way. So in the beginning of the story, Will really wanted to get away from the Allens because he thought they were not popular, and he wanted to be popular. My second piece of evidence was that Will felt scared to be seen walking across the recess yard. My third evidence is that Will was experiencing pressure to look cool and dress the part. So I want to know what you guys think. What types of pressure is Will facing that would make him act this way? I want to hear your thoughts. So when I say go, you're going to turn to a partner in your area or wave to someone who doesn't have a group. Everyone's going to participate. When I say go, you're going to turn and talk about it. What types of pressures is Will facing that would make him act this way? Ready? Go. Wow, I heard some great ideas, and I'm always excited to hear you all share. So keep up the good work, keep sharing your thoughts, and let's keep going. I'm going to read an excerpt from Popularity on page 49. So we can think and start to identify, why is Will acting this way? What pressures is he facing? During this time, Mitch became a less and less part of the group, telling fewer stories, until finally, the following year, he was gone. To another school, perhaps, or another state, or another country. I never knew. No one knew because no one noticed. No one had called him for months. But my phone rang. My weekends were filled with sleepovers and baseball games and bowling parties and bicycle races and more friends than I knew what to do with. And I did not trust one of them because I knew then that I was standing on sand and was only a yellow shirt and pair of pants away from the oak trees where the two Allens were still looking for four-leaf clovers. Wow, so I have some more evidence to add to my pressure map. All right, let's look at number 4. So after Will gets accepted into the popular group, now he feels this pressure of maintaining and keeping his cool lifestyle of sleepovers and hangouts. Oh, I thought I heard someone say that's tough. It is. And at the end of the story, my 5th piece of evidence is that Will feels how quickly this could all slip away. So as fast as he got it is as fast as it could slip away, or as easy as it could slip away. He is now standing on sand. He's feeling the pressure of not having friends that he can trust. And we all know that we need friends in our circle that we can trust. I feel the pressure that Will could possibly be experiencing just by looking at my pressure map and rereading all the evidence that I just added. So let's have another turn and talk. I want to know what you think. Is life greener on the other side for Will? See how I use my quotation marks? What life is better for him? This popular life or the life he had with the Allens? I want to know what you think. When I say go, you're going to turn and talk with your partner or group. It can stay the same from the earlier turn and talk, or you can turn to the other direction and talk with a new group. Ready? Go. Wow, I heard some really great ideas, and I even heard some debates. And shout out to your accountable talk. We are all having great discussions during our turn and talk, and everyone is participating, and this makes me happy as a teacher. All right, so here are some examples of some pressure maps back when we had real notebooks on paper, and we're in a digital world now, so you have digital notebooks. But if you want to, you can always take out pen and paper and create something on paper. So in this example, we had a student use Evie from Hush from your summer reading to pick out some pressures that she was experiencing from family, her social life, school life, and even adults in her life. And there's a little character drawn, especially for those of you who like to draw. This is an option as well. To be a little bit more creative with your creative entry, which you will get in class. This is also another example of a pressure map where the character is in the middle and all of the examples and evidence of pressures are surrounded. And this is another form of a graphic organizer that you can do on a hard copy paper. But for now, all we're asking is that you copy and paste your mini lesson notes and fill those out for Will in our mini lesson. All right, so now it's your turn. Do you see how we were able to think of a trait that you dislike about your character? You don't have to like everything about your character. It's actually better if you can identify some of the things you dislike. Then we can consider the pressures that the character might have that make them act this way. Especially a good author and a good reader always look for the evidence because authors including clues for the reader to find. Investigate that character. Why are they bitter? There might be a reason. And then you want to think, well, thinking of Will, of course. And then you want to write down these pressures. Any thoughts we have make great stop and jots. So you want to make sure you're stopping to write down your thoughts. So now moving forward, for at least this week, anytime that you identify a pressure that your character may be facing, you can stop and jot it. And if you can't find the reason why that character is acting that way at the moment, you can always go back to your jot and add it. Well, boys and girls, I am very excited to read your notes for when you practice this work using your own characters in your war journal. But for right now, I just want to thank you and shout you out for learning with me in our mini lesson. Have a great day.